10 o'clock at night, and we are signing.
This is what we do for fun.
Deals.
On Friday night.
We're signing for y'all. So if y'all want a signed copy, I'm going to put the link here. And I think Derek's signature looks grand. And I was telling him his signature looks better than mine. And that he could have been on.
Today, I feel like.
Yes. Could have been on the Declaration of Independence. It was that good.
John
It's like
Hancock.
John Hancock. I was going to say the same thing.
See, when you've been married 9 years.
See, we think the same.
Many people have been married longer than us, but
yeah,
I feel like we can finish each other's sentences.
Yep.
John Hancock.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. Jill Duggar is adorable with her husband Derek. They are preparing for her book, Counting the Cost, to be released in a month. She was working on signing books over the weekend, and she and Derek were signing the books. You can buy the books signed, I guess, these days. And she's been posting her journey of writing her book. And yesterday we find out that Josh Duggar's appeal was denied. Today, Josh Duggar's attorneys issued a statement about the appeals and some new details about Anna Duggar lying and the debt that Anna and Josh owe that has still not been paid, and the prospect of them wasting even more money on appeals as they move into not wanting to accept responsibility. So let's dive into today's topic. Before we do, can you please do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? Please subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Click on the bell so you can get notified of any time I go live or new content loads. If you have a comment that you would like to leave, make sure to leave one and share this video with your friends. So yesterday was the appeal announcement by the Supreme Court, the U.S. Appeals Court in Missouri. And you know what I think is interesting is there hasn't been a single comment from anyone in the Duggar family. So none of the siblings said anything about the appeal being denied. The Duggars haven't released a statement, no statement from Anna, nothing. You know, I thought there would have been something. I kept going to the Duggars website to see like if Jim Bob and Michelle were going to say something about the appeal being denied, because this is literally what they were banking on. I mean, their entire goal here was that they believed that Josh's case was going to get overturned, that they were going to go to the appeals court, and clearly the appeals court was going to favor them. Because obviously Judge Brooks is a Obama appointee, and the Duggars believe it's an Obama-Biden conspiracy of trying to go after the conservative Christians' families. I'm not making it political. That's what they said. So obviously they believed by going to the conservative appellate court and 3 conservative judges that somehow those conservative judges would side with their conservative agenda. Do you see where I'm going here? I cannot make this up. I am not trying to be political. This is the Duggars and how they believe. So the 3 appellate judges that were involved in the decision were all appointed by Republicans. I actually learned this on Law website. And so those 3 judges, even though they were appointed by Republicans, didn't agree that Josh was framed or that his case was huge mistakes were made by the liberal appointed judge. The Biden conspiracy has fallen apart because the conservative judges shot him down. So it's always funny to me how they come up with these weird conspiracies, but that's just me. So Josh Duggar's attorneys gave a statement to Fox Digital News, and they were disappointed. Justin Gelfand said, we disagree with the reasoning of the court's decision, and we will evaluate all options with our client. So Josh's attorneys are disagreeing with the fact that the appeals court found that the judge didn't make any mistakes, that he wasn't in custody, that James Futrell had the ability to make decisions and point out metadata, and that he had no right to ask Caleb about his SO status and use that as a way to confuse the jury. I don't know what Josh is going to do. My guess is that he'll probably file an appeal to the appeal and ask for a rehearing or something like that, or he might even go to the Supreme Court. He might think that the conservative Supreme Court will see things his way, but I'll be honest, I don't see a lot of people in this world siding with someone that's been convicted of what he's been convicted of. Doesn't matter what your stature is. I don't think there's a high tolerance for people like Josh in this world. So Josh is going to probably spend more money on lawyers' fees, and the lawyers will gladly take his cash. And Anna and Josh are left with no money for their kids, Anna living off Jim Bob and Michelle, and Jim Bob forking over more cash for his defense. And on top of that, Anna Duggar has been left with $50,000 in debt that Josh still owes to the Department of Justice. That's right. So Josh Duggar, when he was convicted and sentenced back in May of 2022, he owes money still. He has a $50,000 lien that is still due to the Department of Justice, and every single day that he doesn't pay this back, it accrues interest. Now, the lien has been placed on a property that he sold and also on the Duggars' home. So the Duggar family, their home in Springdale, Arkansas, has a lien on it in the name of Josh Duggar, even though Josh doesn't own that house. And anything that is in Josh's name, any money that Josh has, anything can go against this lien. And because Anna is married to Josh, this debt is also hers. So Josh hasn't paid this off, which I think is weird because his family is supposed to have all kinds of money. The appeal has now been denied. You would think you would take the money and you would pay off the debt. But accordingly, at the time of sentencing, the judge said that he did not have the money to pay this. So technically, he can pay this for up to X amount of years until after he gets out. So once he's released, he'll have to pay it off a certain amount per month. But the fact that this debt is still outstanding is actually shocking to me. They have forked over probably millions of dollars at this point in his defense and are probably going to spend even more trying to go to the Supreme Court. And Josh is draining the Duggars' bank account. So Jim Bob and Michelle are going to remain committed to this lie, and Anna's going to remain committed to this lie. So they don't have to pay off the debt that they owe to the Department of Justice and to try to clear their name. This also proves that Anna Duggar lied to the public when she said there was more to the story. So one of her very last public posts she posted was back in February of 2022, where she shared a link to a court record that had the proof that Caleb Williams was the culprit in this case. The appeals court said there is no proof that Caleb Williams did this. They had no right to ask Caleb about what he had done. And because they had evidence that he wasn't there, they can't accuse another perpetrator on pure speculation. So Anna Duggar, along with Josh, helped contribute to the dissemination of false allegations against Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams by no means is a saint because he does have his own SO. He is an SO. He has a conviction. But to try to pin something like this on somebody else just because they have their own conviction is despicable. It's like the only reason Josh wanted him to be around could have been because of that conviction. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you laid with dogs, you're going to get fleas, Josh. I mean, why are you hanging out with these people that are so bad? I mean, he wasn't that bad when you were hanging out with him, but now you want to say he did these things? I'm just saying, if I were Caleb, I would sue them, but he probably won't because he's got his own crap to deal with. And I don't know if you can actually ruin your reputation when you're already a convicted SO. I don't know if you could have it more defamed, but in this case, it is completely different crimes. I would be annoyed. So Anna Duggar I don't know why people still have sympathy for her, because she lied. She lied to the public and said there was more to the story. There is not more to the story. None. Nothing. She lied. Josh owes money, Anna owes money, and the Duggars are going to spend more money on Josh's defense. Meanwhile, their daughter Jill, who they've shunned and they don't allow in their home and has no relationship with basically anyone in her family, is writing a book hoping to expose literally all of the dirty secrets of this family. The book will be out in September. Jill has been sharing her journey about her process of writing, counting the cost. And I will say this, I have already ordered the book. I'm hopeful that this book will give us a lot more insight into her life. Obviously, people are concerned that it's not going to give them all the tea that they want, but at the end of the day, it's her story. It's her right to share what she wants and what she doesn't want. And at some point, it has to be out there. Jim Bob is probably shaking in his boots about this still, but he continues to remain more focused on issuing statements through an attorney that they don't agree with the appeals court. So Jim Bob and Michelle remain completely quiet about this. Anna remains quiet. All the siblings remain quiet. At some point, some of these Duggars are going to have to say something. You know, I keep wondering, Shiny Happy People comes out, right? And they don't. One of the reasons why apparently the Duggars weren't involved in it was, one, because it was going to be negative towards them, but two, because the appeals were going on. And they didn't want to interfere with the appeals process, and they were banking on the fact that they were literally banking on the fact that the appeals court was going to overturn this case and that they were going to go to trial. And then they were banking on the fact that they had all this new evidence and that they could pin it on Caleb in the new trial, and that Jed Duggar would come in as savior and testify for his brother. And the reason why all of the boys hadn't talked publicly was because they believed they were still under subpoena and that they could be called to testify against Josh or for Josh on Josh's behalf. So now that the appeals are over, and sure, he'll maybe go to the Supreme Court, at what point do they actually do a sit-down interview with a news station and talk about what happened? It's really strange to me that there has been no hour-long documentary about this. There's been no Dateline. There's been no prime time. There's no 2020, nothing. This case was one of the biggest cases to rock TLC, reality television, and one of the biggest stories. Subway from Jared has 3 episodes on Hulu, and there's been Datelines on Jared from Subway. Josh Duggar and the Duggar family, who amassed millions upon millions upon millions of views and were on a nationally televised show for over 17 years, don't have anything. So at some point, will the Duggars sit down for an interview? Will Anna sit down for an interview? Will they finally come clean? Will they finally come to accept? Or are they going to still live in denial about what Josh has done and still push out money and focus on the money that they're spending on this, and then take that money away from the resources that they could give to their other children? And all the while, one of the victims of Josh, named Jill Duggar, is completely shunned from her family, not allowed to be around them, and writing a book set to expose them. Perhaps the only Duggar that will actually be honest. Now, Ginger was a little bit honest, but she still held back. So the walls are crumbling. They banked on this appeal being overturned. They don't have that anymore. What's the next step for the Duggars? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.